Hi everybody, welcome to Get Your Play Online. Today we are going to do some art and meditation. We're going to be making some Olympic medals. My name's Caitlin, by the way. We're going to get started by reading a book, and this book is about good sportsmanship. All right. So Orson sat in his waller basking in the bright spring sunshine. On a nearby fence, a red-winged blackbird sang a cheerful song. A pleasant breeze rippled through the new leaves on the trees and stirred the fresh wildflowers. "What a beautiful day," said Orson. "On a day like this, the whole world is happy." But the words were barely out of his mouth when he heard loud, angry voices. "It's the sunshine," shouted one voice. "Well, I say it's the flowers," another voice shouted back. Orson groaned. Lanolin and Roy were fighting again. "What are you two arguing about this time?" asked Orson as they approached the waller. "We're arguing about the day," said Lanolin. "I say it's beautiful because of the sunshine." "Everyone knows it's the flowers," countered Roy. "It's the sunshine," insinuated Lanolin. "It's the flowers," replied Roy. "Stop," shouted Orson. "Instead of arguing about this beautiful day, why don't you just enjoy it?" "How?" said Lanolin. "I know," said Orson. "How about getting the whole gang together for a game of baseball?" "Great idea," said Roy and Lanolin together. Roy and Lanolin ran off in different directions to round up the other animals. Orson went to get the old baseball equipment from the barn. "What do we use for bases?" asked Bo. Orson looked around. "That flat rock can be first base," he said, "and the bare spot will be second. We can use the little tree for third, so all we need is something for home plate." "How about me?" said Bo, flopping on the ground. "That's very nice of you," replied Orson, "but we don't really want to slide into your face." "Speak for yourself," said Roy. Finally, they found an old piece of wood to serve as home plate. "As the best athlete on the farm, I should be captain of one team," said Lanolin. "You?" crowed Roy. "You can't walk and chew grass at the same time. I will be captain." "No way." "Knock it off," said Orson. "You can each be captain of a team." Lanolin chose Booker and Bo for her team, while Roy picked Orson and Cody. That left Sheldon and Wade. "Are you afraid of baseballs?" Roy asked Wade. "Only if they come near me." "Terrific," moaned Roy. "I have to choose between a scared duck and a walking egg." "Maybe you should play without me," said Sheldon sadly. "Nonsense," said Orson. Quickly he slipped a glove over Sheldon's shell. "Now you're ready to play." "Who turned out the lights?" said Sheldon. "I'll take Wade," said Roy. Lanolin's team took the field first. "Batter up," Lanolin shouted. "I'm the star. I'll bat first," said Roy, shoving Orson aside. "Pitch it in here," Roy shouted at Lanolin. "I'll knock that ball out of sight." "Not this ball you won't," said Lanolin, winding up. Roy took aim at the oncoming pitch and swung as hard as he could. The bat hit the ball with a loud thud. "What was that?" said a surprised Roy. Lanolin had covered the ball with wool. It took 2 weak bounces, then rolled to a stop, only a few feet from home plate. "How do you like my fleece ball?" cried Lanolin as she quickly pounced on the fuzzy ball. "That's illegal," shouted Roy. "You're out," shouted Lanolin, tagging Roy. Orson sighed. This is going to be a long game. When Lanolin's team came to bat, Booker smashed a hit to the outfield. "Fetch it, Cody, fetch it," cried Roy. Barking loudly, Cody raced after the ball. Seconds later, he raced back to Roy, carrying a stick in his mouth. "No, no, fetch the ball." Roy didn't want Booker to get a home run, so he snatched first base and ran away with it. "Give me that base," cried Booker, chasing after him. "That's not fair." "Who cares?" cackled Roy. "I want to win." Later that inning, Lanolin hit an easy bouncing ball toward Wade. "Look out, Wade," she cried. "It's a vicious duck-smacking grounder." "Ah!" cried Wade, running away. Before Orson could retrieve the ball, Lanolin had run around the bases 3 times. "It's not nice to scare Wade like that," said Orson. "He'll get over it," replied Lanolin. "The important thing is I got a triple homer." "I've never heard of a triple homer," said Bo. "Whose side are you on?" said Lanolin. The game dragged on into the afternoon. Roy cheated and argued. Lanolin argued and cheated. Batters and fielders ran every which way. "Are we still having fun?" asked Sheldon. "I think fun is supposed to be more fun than this," said Orson, shaking his head. Finally, the other animals had had enough. While Roy and Lanolin were in the middle of yet another argument, Orson, Wade, Booker, Bo, Sheldon, and Cody crept quietly away. It took only a few minutes before Roy and Lanolin realized that they had the baseball field to themselves. "Everyone's gone," said Lanolin. "Spoil sports," muttered Roy. "Well, at least my team won." "What do you mean?" cried Lanolin. "My team won." They argued their way back to the barn. Roy and Lanolin saw Orson getting into a barrel. "What's going on?" asked Roy. "We decided to play hide and seek instead of baseball," said Orson. "Great, we'll play too," said Lanolin. "Oh no," replied Orson. "We don't want you to play with us anymore." "Why not?" demanded Roy. "Because you argue and cheat and ruin the game for everyone else. Until you learn to play by the rules, you'll have to play by yourselves." "Well, that's fine with me," said Lanolin. "I don't need anyone else." "Me neither," said Roy, and they both stomped off in different directions. Back at the baseball field, Roy hit a fly ball, and another, and another. After a few more, he sat down in the middle of the field. "I wonder how Orson's hide and seek is going," he said. Lanolin decided to play hide and seek by herself. She climbed a tree and sat hiding in the branches. She sat, and then she sat some more. "Somehow this isn't quite as much fun," she finally admitted. Roy tried to play tag by himself, but all he did was run in circles. Lanolin discovered the teeter-totters were definitely meant for 2 people. Finally, they both went to find Orson. "I miss playing with everyone," Roy confessed to Orson. "Me too," said Lanolin. "We miss you too," replied Orson, "but we don't miss your fighting and cheating." "I'll behave if he will," Lanolin promised. "And I'll behave if she will," stated Roy. "Let's play ball," said Orson. As promised, Roy and Lanolin tried to play fair and fight less. "Playing fair is more fun," Roy said to Lanolin. "Don't you agree?" "Absolutely," replied Lanolin. Orson shrugged. He said, "I guess some things never change." All right, so this week's theme is sports, and so today for our craft, we're going to be making some Olympic medals. I already made one here just to kind of show you guys. On one side we put the little Olympic medal emblem, and then on the back we're going to write one positive personality trait or something that you're proud of about yourself. and then you can paint, you can color them however you like. So in order to do this, we're going to need some clay, and it's helpful if this clay will eventually like dry and harden up. We'll need some paint and some paint brushes, some string, a straw or like a pen or a marker cap so that you can make the little outlines of the Olympic medals. If you don't have that, you can do it with like a pen or pencil and just draw some circles too. And then you'll also need a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper. So to get started, we're going to think of something positive, and we're going to write that on our piece of paper. So you should write I am, and then whatever positive trait that you're thinking of. So in my example that I made, I put honest. You could do independent, strong, brave, or kind. Whatever word you think describes yourself really well. So I'll give everybody a minute or so to think about what word they want to do and then write that on their paper. And you can use a pen or a pencil or a marker, whatever you really want to use to write that on your paper. Alright, so I'm going to do something different this time than what I did the last time. So I wrote on my paper that I am kind. So we're going to put this paper with our kind words to ourselves off to the side. And then we can start making our Olympic medal. So in order to do that, we're going to start by taking our clay, and you can form it into the shape of a medal. So I did mine. It's kind of like a flat circle. So start shaping that. It's helpful for me to kind of put it on like a flat surface and then kind of just smush it with my hand. Like roll it into a ball and then put it on a flat surface and smush it into my hand, so then it comes out like this. And then on one side, we're going to make Olympic rings like this. So in order to do that, I just took a marker and stuck it on and made the 5 circles. And so usually they look like this, and you can do different colors if you want, but this is how they usually look. So we'll do that. You can also use a straw or a pen cap. Your circles will be a little bit tinier, but that's okay. They can be however big or small that you want. And so I can show this again too in case you guys need a reference. Alright. So I did mine. So when I did mine, now it looks like this. And something that I did was I actually took some markers, and I have like these skinny markers, and I used those to color in the colors of the circle. And you can either use markers or you can use paint to color them in. Whatever you'd like. All right. So you can start doing that now. Just did this first one, red. Then I'll do blue. So I've done the top three. And again, you can do different colors if you want. You don't have to do what I did. Whatever you'd like. Okay. And this one. All right. So I have my Olympic medals all colored in now. So we're gonna have this on one side, and then on the other side, we're gonna take a pen or a pencil, and we're going to write that positive quality that you wrote on your piece of paper. So on mine, I wrote on my original one that I did, I wrote honest. So what I did was I just took a pen and I lightly like scratched into the clay that word. And then I later went back with my markers and kind of colored it in so you could see it more. So I'm going to flip mine over and write my new word, which is kind. And if you have a long word, it might be harder, but you can split it up if you have to. It doesn't have to all be on the same line. Oops. All right. So I wrote kind, and so I'm going to take one of my markers, and again, you can be using paint or not. Choose to not color it in as well. I think I'm going to do pink. I'm gonna fill that in. So now it's all filled in. And because we want to be able to hang this around our neck, I have a straw here, and you can also use like a pen cap. And we're gonna punch out a little hole at the top, like how I did on this one, so that we can tie our string around it and wear it around our necks. So I'm just gonna stick it like right in here, twist it a little bit, and there we go. We got perfect hole for us to use later. All right, so then lastly, you can paint your metal whatever color you'd like. For this one, I painted it silver, but you can paint it any color. I think with my new one, I'm going to use blue. And it might be helpful to paint one side and leave it out to dry for a little bit, and then go back and paint the other side, so that the paint doesn't spread everywhere. We can start with one side, whatever side you want to start with. You might have to go back over your rings if you colored them in, or just be careful painting around them so that they don't smudge or get covered up. What I'm doing is I'm just painting the outside. I'm trying to be really careful around those rings that I already outlined. I chose a non-traditional metal color, but I really like the color blue. So like I said, you can pick whatever you want. I might leave the insides of the circles white, so I think you can see them really well like that. So I can let that sit there for a few minutes while that side dries. It might take longer than a few minutes, but we'll see. Once it gets a little bit more dry. I think it's starting to dry already because I just did a light coat on it. Started on the other side, starting to dry up. If yours is still wet, then you can also leave it out to dry for a bit longer and go back later and do the other side if you have to. Painting my edges. Because I kind of made my letters pretty deep on the back, I'm just lightly painting over, and it's not really, the paint isn't really getting in the indent, so you can kind of see what it looks like. I might just like touch up the letters again. Alright, there we go. So a little wet. And then last, so depending on how soft or heavy your metal is, it might be best to wait to add your string until it's hardened a little bit, until it's dry. Otherwise, what might happen is when you're wearing it, it might just slip right through and the hole will break. So I'm gonna try on mine. And again, it might still be wet too, so you might want to wait so that you're not wearing your metal while it's still wet and then paint gets on your shirt. My clay is pretty light and it's pretty thick, and so I think it's gonna hold up okay when I tie this string on. So that will be your last step. So tie your string around it so you can wear it. Alright. So I'm not going to put it on around my neck just yet because I think some of the paint might still be a little bit wet. But eventually I'll be able to wear it, and it can go right here. And then there's a positive reminder on the back about something that you're proud of about yourself, or a positive trait about yourself. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining today. I hope you enjoyed our little story about good sportsmanship and doing our little metal craft. And I hope to see you guys again soon. All right, bye.